Bodymeister. Servus Freunde, my name is Jimmy Cage.
And I'm Dennis, the Bodymeister.
Some time ago we had an all Malayalam movie poll where our patrons and YouTube members were able to decide if we either review Godfather, Tuvana Tumbikal or Vidyan. Tuvana Tumbikal won, but it was a neck and neck race with Vidyan. And because of that we decided to review Vidyan too, and here we are.
Vidyan, which means the servile or the slave, was written and directed by Adur Gopalakrishnan. He's actually no stranger to us. We already reviewed Matilukal and you also watched Anantaram. Both those movies and Vidyan all star Mammootty, and Gopalakrishnan directed those three movies back to back, with Vidyan being the last one. It was released in 1994.
In Vidyan, Mammootty shares the screen with M.R. Gopakumar, who plays the slave Tommy to Mammootty's master Bhaskara Patela or Patel. The movie displays and explores the master-slave dialectic. Tommy obeys all orders by Patel, or rather, he so much agrees with his master's decisions that he doesn't oppose him. He escorts Patel like a pet and buries his real feelings deep inside of himself.
Patel is a terrifying, despicable human being who very rarely shows some heart. I think it shines through that he's actually not that satisfied or happy with his own lifestyle either, but he's so deadlocked in this mindset and this dialectic that there's no room for something else, especially not emotions and feelings that could reveal weakness.
Yes, both of them, Patel and Tommy, are set in their ways. This is what it's always been like, and this is what it's always gonna be. Although things definitely change in the later course of the movie. And we take part in that through a story that explores this codependence. And it's probably also of note that Tommy is a Christian migrant laborer from Kerala, which also puts him in a very fragile and subservient position in this social hierarchy, with Patel being this established landlord.
Vidyan is based on a novel by Zakaria called Bhaskara Patelarum Ente Jivitam, which can be translated to something like Bhaskara Patel is my life. The novel is in turn inspired by a real-life character of whom Zakaria happened to hear stories about. Now, not only is the story in general quite intriguing, the movie, the way it's structured and narrated, is also quite fascinating.
It starts with the opening credits. We see an empty chair and a rifle. The credits roll, underlined with a fantastic, haunting, spaghetti western style music that was composed by Vijaya Bhaskar. It's kind of epic and it also conveys a tragic feeling. And right after that, with the first scene, the stage is set. We learn who's the slave and we learn who's the master through a fierce and angry dialogue between Tommy and Patel.
Mammootty immediately conquers the screen with his king-size presence. His piercing eyes and grim look really put the fear of God into the viewer. He has this Jack Nicholson-like devilish aura in this movie, which sometimes also has a resentful, embittered vibe to it.
Yeah, at one point we learned that Patel probably wasn't always like that, and like you said, it minimally shines through here and there. For example, when his son comes home and he embraces him, and also later when he becomes weaker, but generally speaking, he's a terrible person. And Mammootty does a terrific job in expressing just that.
Patel more and more loses control over time. He beats people up without any reason. He's constantly drunk, he takes whatever woman he wants, including the wife of Tommy. All of that, of course, leads to him making enemies, which eventually happens.
The atmosphere in this village is poisoned. I mean, you can see it with Tommy's wife, who constantly lives in fear, and of course with Tommy himself, who is kind of looking for a way out, at least at some point. M.R. Gopakumar, by the way, is also magnificent in the role.
He is. He and Mammootty have good chemistry, but contrary to Mammootty's Patel, Tommy also has a romantic connection or point of reference in the story, namely his wife Omana, played by Zabita Anand, with whom he shares a lot of sensitive and tender moments. And it's in these moments where we witness Tommy's escape from Patel's clutches, and M.R. Gopakumar is able to show him in a looser way.
Right until Patel wants something and claims his presence, or Patel's enemies claim him to lure his master into a trap. And like we said, Vidyan is all about this master-slave connection. So on one hand, Tommy hates Patel and wants to kill him. That's what he says after Patel slept with his wife. But on the other hand, he does everything for him because he's afraid of what Patel might do to him or what might happen to him as soon as Patel's gone. He probably wouldn't know what to do with his freedom because he never had it.
Vidyan is a rather slow movie, just like Matilukal. Adur Gopalakrishnan's style seeps through this movie. We get a lot of very long shots with very little dialogue, like the scene with the dynamite for example. It helps building the strange relationship between Patel and Tommy, but it can be slightly tedious because Vidyan doesn't offer characters or a lot of situations that are really that engaging. It's more about the overall feeling and this bizarre atmosphere.
I would agree, Vidyan plays more like a parable in many ways. It's quite philosophical and it's charged with symbolism. The search for freedom, freedom of the body, but also freedom of the mind is so apparent here. You can see that when you analyze the relationship of Patel and his wife Saroja, played by Tanvi Azmi. She's more or less the one sane thing that surrounds him. In a way, she's his conscience. And that makes her dangerous for him, because he doesn't want that. So she has to go.
Yeah, we're probably talking spoilers from here on out, but then again, Vidyan is not a crime thriller or something where things could really be spoiled, but nonetheless, spoilers. The whole sequence where Patel gets Tommy and we learn and see that Patel killed his wife and how they arrange everything with the rope to make it look like a suicide is pretty intense, and it shows their dependence on each other perfectly.
Yes, and it is in that moment where something changes in Patel. And maybe we have to revise something that we both said earlier, because when I think of it now, Patel becomes a little bit more human after that incident with his wife. He's quite confused because he's so scared that his wife, who he killed from behind, recognized that it was him. So he asks Tommy time and time again if he thinks that she recognized him by his hands.
He seems much more vulnerable, that's true. Her death didn't set his mind free like he believed it would, and when he needs to run, when both he and Tommy are fleeing from Patel's enemies, you can almost see remorse in his face. Remorse for the fact that he put Tommy and his wife through all of that. And again, Mammootty is fantastic in displaying this other side of Patel.
Nobody wants to take Patel in, so the movie takes quite a different direction in the last 15 minutes, when he and Tommy wander through the woods. They actually grow closer and Tommy even allows himself to smile after Patel called him by his name. It's a strange relationship, I think we already established that.
Yes, the ending amplifies that. It's probably the only way for Patel to set himself free, or get set free, and of course the only way for Tommy to do the same. And the mantra, no master, no hope, no life, doesn't have to become the only way.
So, what would we say in German about Vidyan?
Vidyan ist ein sehr philosophischer Film, der die Herr-Knecht-Dialektik auf faszinierende Weise erforscht. Einen Zugang zum Film und der Geschichte zu finden ist allerdings nicht so einfach. Es lohnt sich aber, es zu versuchen, alleine schon wegen Mammootys überragender Leistung.
I give Vidyan 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.3, but I don't do that.
For me, it's also 7 out of 10. It's more like 7.1, but I don't do that either. Did you know that the master-slave dialectic goes back to Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel's Phenomenology of Spirit from 1807?
No, could you please explain it to me? Show off. So, what are your thoughts about Vidyan? Leave a comment and hit me up on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd or on Patreon, simply at TheJimmyCage. You can now also become a member of the channel and get exclusive rewards.
And you can hit me up on Twitter at TheBodyMeister.
And if you enjoyed this episode, please give us a thumbs up, share, subscribe, whatever you like. And make sure you hit that bell for all we have to tell.